Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. BNB Plus Corp BNBX just filed an amendment to a registration rights agreement, and I am seeing one red flag that matters. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing is about extending a deadline for investors, but it might hint at some underlying pressure. Alright, let's dive into what BNB Plus Corp has filed. This is a Form 8, which generally means something important has happened that the company needs to tell its investors about right away. The main event here is about an amendment to a registration rights agreement. Think of a registration rights agreement as a deal between the company and investors that says the company will help these investors sell their shares by registering them so they can be traded publicly. So what happened is that on the 29th of June, BNB Plus Corp changed an existing agreement with a group of investors that collectively own more than half of what they call registrable securities. These are basically shares that have special rights attached. The key change here is to the filing date. They've extended this date. It is now going to be 30 days after all the investors have completed their part of the deal, but there is a hard deadline. This all has to happen on or before the 17th of July of 2026. What this really means is that the company is giving these investors more time to get their shares registered or ready to be sold. Now, why would a company need to extend deadlines for investors? Usually it is because something is taking longer than expected, or perhaps there is a bit of a standoff or a need for more flexibility. It could be due to market conditions, or maybe the company is facing its own internal timelines that are slipping. Looking at the context provided, BNB Plus Corp is in the financial services and asset management sector. They have a relatively small market cap of about $3 million, and their stock price has seen significant volatility over the past year, trading between $0.32 and a high of $7.15. The current price of $0.36 is significantly down from its peak. This kind of situation, where deadlines are being extended for important investor agreements, can sometimes be a sign that the company is under pressure to meet its obligations or is trying to work out a more favorable path for its stakeholders, which includes these investors. It is important to remember that extending a deadline doesn't automatically mean bad news, but it does signal that the original plan needed some adjustment. For investors holding these registrable securities, it means they'll have to wait a little longer to potentially sell their shares. For the company, it might mean they are still working to fulfill the terms of previous agreements, which could be a delicate balancing act given their current market position. The filing itself points to Exhibit 10.1 for the full details of this amendment. That is where the complete legal language would be. This section simply lists the exhibits filed with the report. Here we see Exhibit 10.1 is indeed the first amendment to the registration rights agreement, and it lists the parties involved: BNB Plus Corp, Comstock Multicane Fund, and KGPA Holdings LLC. Now, what is the story here? BNB Plus Corp is in a situation where they have to renegotiate the timing of obligations related to their investors. This could be a sign of flexibility and good faith in working with their shareholders, or it could reflect challenges in meeting initial timelines. Given their market cap and stock performance, companies often face these kinds of adjustments. It is not uncommon for smaller companies, especially those outside of the major indices, to have more complex and sometimes sensitive arrangements with their early stage investors. The fact that this deadline is being pushed, even with a firm end date of the 17th of July, suggests they are managing a process that might have been tight for investors. The key is understanding what the implications of this delay are for their ability to exit their position. For the company, it's about ensuring they maintain good relationships and transparency with these key shareholders. Looking at other recent news, there was a headline about BNB Plus Corp amending registration rights timing for investors, which directly aligns with this filing. There was also news about them starting a strategic review back in April, which indicates they may have been assessing their overall business direction. The company also had recent cash flow statements filed. These pieces of information suggest a company that is actively managing its business and financial strategies, potentially in response to market pressures or performance. This filing isn't about massive financial numbers like revenue or profit, but it is crucial because it deals with the mechanics of how investors can get their money out. If investors have registered rights, it means they likely invested under terms that promised a clear path to liquidity, when that path needs to be extended. It makes you wonder if the company is facing any hurdles in facilitating those sales, which could be tied to market liquidity or the company's own stock performance. In my view, this amendment highlights the ongoing efforts by BNB Plus Corp to navigate its investor relations and potential share liquidity. While not signaling immediate financial distress, it points to a company that is actively managing its obligations in a dynamic market. The risk I am watching is whether these extended timelines are part of a larger strategy to weather market challenges, or if they mask more significant underlying issues that could impact future shareholder value. What I am actually looking for is more clarity on the company's strategic review and how that will impact their ability to meet future obligations. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded, like, comment, subscribe, and join our Discord for more.